Hi, I'm Angela. Welcome to our last lesson on scales. In this lesson, we're going to talk about the G flat major scale, also known as the F sharp major scale, and how it works as a seam to connect the sharp side of the circle to the flat side of the circle and create one beautiful circle of fifths. Congratulations on making it this far. Now, so far we've been talking about the circle of fifths as this lovely little pattern that goes from B to E to A to D to G to C to F and on, each time losing one sharp and then gaining one flat. And it's lovely to look at the pattern that way, but it also takes a large part of the piano now that we know so many scales, 11 of the 12 already. So here's a more compact way to see that same pattern. If you're interested, I like playing it this way. So this is B, E, and then instead of going down a fifth to A, we're gonna go up a fourth. So it looks like this: B, E, A, D, G, C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. And that shows us that our last one is gonna be G flat. Now, another way to know that, of course, is to remember that lovely thing, B, E, A, D, G, C, F, those seven letters in order. Really, really helpful in a lot of scenarios, and this is one of them. So after we do B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, the next thing is G flat. Now, how many flats will G flat have? Well, remember that the key of C had none, so F had one, B flat had two, E flat had three, A flat had four, D flat had five, so G flat will have six. Now, a lot of people get a little bit confused here because there are only 5 black keys on the piano, right? But again, this is where those 7 letters are going to come in really handy. Remember, they're not only the order of scales, but they're also the order of flats. So if we need to know how many or what flats we'll have with 6 flats, we just rattle off the first 6 letters of that thing. B, E, A, D, G, C. C is the next flat. C flat is contained in the key of G flat. So if you look at our C, you'll notice it does not have a black key underneath of it, but that does not mean it doesn't have a flat. This note is called C flat. Now I realize most people might look at this note and call it a B, but in our flat side, we always have B being flat. So we have this note available and we call it C flat. So for the key of G flat, which is our last scale, I gave it its own lesson because it's just kind of complicated. We're going to have 6 flats, the 5 that you can see and the 1 C flat that you can't see. And so that's going to look like this. Thank goodness the right hand fingering is the same. Remember, after we play the black keys, we use the thumb. That's the right hand pattern. So we start on G flat, we play all the flats that we can see. When we're choosing which note to put our thumb on, we've always done the upper one before. We've always used the C, but remember for this key, we're going to use C flat, so we're going to use this note. So it's, we use our thumb here, and then we use the thumb again, this time going for the upper note, the F. So that fingering is this, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2. Again, please don't try to remember this fingering. Just remember the pattern, what it looks like and how it feels. After the black keys, you use your thumb. That's all there is to it. The challenge for many people face is knowing which white key to choose. And remember, it's going to be the lower one first, and then the upper one for the key of G flat. The left hand is different than it is in any other key. Remember, the normal left hand pattern for the dark side is that we start with 3 and then we flip to 4. But for this one, since we have 3 black keys that we start with, we're going to start with finger 4. And when we flip, we're going to flip to finger 3. So that is 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. All the normal rules apply when you're trying to teach yourself to play this with hands together. Learn it hands separately first. Make sure your hands really, really know it independently of each other and independently of you really having to think about it. Commit it to the muscle memory, then try to put it together slowly, carefully, making sure that you're prioritizing being correct over being fast, okay? Don't worry, the speed, the fluidity will come with time. Now, the question then becomes, after G flat, what's next? Well, again, think about those 7 letters, B, E, A, D, G, C, F, right? After G comes C. So after G flat comes C flat, which remember is a note. It's this one. And that note, my friends, is B. It turns out that the C flat scale is something that you already know. It's most commonly referred to as the B scale. Now, most of the time, we're going to call this the B scale. We'll call it B, C sharp, D sharp, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and B. But we could just as easily call it the C flat scale, and that's going to look like this. C flat, D flat, E flat, F flat, G flat, A flat, B flat, and C flat. Those 2 scales, C flat and B, are the same thing, which means that as we add flats and we go from no flats on the key of C all the way up, 1 flat, 2 flat, 3 flats, etc., we get to 6 flats, that's G flat, and the next one, 7 flats, would be C flat, but it's the same as 5 sharps. And that, my friends, is why we call this a circle, because if we start on B, we do B, E, A, D, G, C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, and then we're back to B. Boom. So we call the G flat scale the seam, going from the flat side of the scale of the circle to the sharp side of the circle. And you can play all of your scales just like that. So you start with 5 sharps, 4 sharps, 3 sharps, 2 sharps, 1 sharp, no sharps, 1 flat, 2 flats, 3 flats, 4 flats, 5 flats, 6 flats, and then 7 flats, also known as 5 sharps, and you're done. You've just ended where you've begun. You've made a circle, the circle of fifths. Some people like to start this circle on C instead and go through all the dark side first. So that would look like C, F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat, B, E, A, D, G, and C. That's kind of like starting at midnight, you know? No sharps, no flats. We add flats, we transition to the sharps, and then we come back to where there are no sharps and no flats. Either way, it's a full circle. In fact, you could start it anywhere, just like on a clock face. If you start at 1 o'clock, you add 12 hours, you get back to 1 o'clock. Same thing if you start at 2, 12 hours from 2, it's 2. So you can start anywhere on the circle, wherever floats your boat. The 2 most common places are to start at B or to start at C. And that's it, my friends. Enjoy. You now know all the major keys, all the major scales that exist in the world. There will never be any more. Thank goodness. So practice your fingerings. Make sure you remember those 7 letters, B, E, A, D, G, C, F. And stay tuned. Our next courses are going to be about chords within those keys and how all those patterns work. Thanks. Bye.